In this video, I will be talking about how to set up a default authorization. The default authorization tab can be accessed at User Customization, User Setup, Register User. By clicking on an ID and heading over to the Authorization tab, you can set up a default authorization. This is used to keep the authorization the same for all departments members. For instance, if you click on the default authorization, at first you will only see default no authorization and default all authorization. So to add a authorization group like me, you need to head on over to User Setup and Authorization Group Settings. Here, by clicking New, you can add an authorization code and name. Upon creating the authorization group, you can press the Setup button for each menu and set up the group settings accordingly. For instance, if you want to have a task authorization, click on the Setup and make sure to have the menus as Have Authorization. Once you're done applying it, go to Register User, click on the user that you would like to apply, and head on over to the authorization group. Since John is a member of a sales department, I would like John to have the sales department access only and not have access to other menus. So by clicking on the sales department, this notification will pop up. By clicking Confirm, the authorization set outside the default authorizations won't change. By clicking Cancel, the authorization that were set individually also change back to the default authorization. As you can see, the default authorizations all conform to the authorization group settings. Let us save. Going back to the ID and looking at the authorization for task authorization, we can see that other menus have no authorizations, but the sales menu have authorization. By clicking on the icon, you can also set it up in detail. For instance, you can even set up exception conditions for the action and menus as well. By clicking on the action setup, you can set it up so that the ID can have authorization or no authorization to enter, modify, or delete. So head on over to Have Authorization, and by putting it to no authorization, this ID cannot modify or delete. The same is applied to exception menu. For instance, if this ID can view all of the sales menus, but the sales list cannot be viewed, make sure to put it as no authorization as an exception. Click Apply and save. Now, by logging into this particular ID, this ID has access to the sales menu. However, any other menu is restricted. So this was a guide on how to use the default authorization menu.